we present the Grumbleweeds. Albert, Carl, Graham, Morris and Robin in Wilf on Wheels.
Well, that's the best news I've heard in years.
What?
Don't tell me you don't know.
What?
It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
What's unbelievable, Uncle Nasty?
There's a for sale sign in Fred Fibber's garden.
Right in the middle of his lawn.
What does he want to sell his lawn for?
Wilfred,
Yeah?
listen, he's selling his house.
Oh.
He must be moving.
Good riddance. It's fantastic news, that.
I wonder where he's going to live.
Well, he told me last week he'd applied for a job.
What job's that?
Secretary General to United Nations.
Well, that's a perfect job for Fred, that is, perfect.
What are you talking about?
Well, he can speak 38 languages fluently.
And he's a personal friend of all the world leaders.
You believe anything that tripound tells you?
Who did he have staying with him when he did last weekend?
I've no idea.
Right, it was Prime Minister of France.
Yeah, he had it, was it, yeah? Because I saw Fred Saturday morning collecting snails from his back garden.
That's right, Wilf is right.
Yeah.
They'd be for Prime Minister's breakfast.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
Because they have them on the cornflakes, don't they?
Yeah,
I can't believe I'm listening to this garbage. Look, did you see this Prime Minister of France?
Well, of course we didn't. Him and Fred were having private talks, weren't they?
All right, what kind of private talks?
It was to do with the common market, Uncle Nasty. Fred told me on Friday. He said they were discussing what to do with the Red Cabbage Mountain.
Good old Fred.
And apparently Fred had the answer.
And what was Fred's answer to shift this Red Cabbage Mountain then?
Pickle it.
Absolutely brilliant. What a brain.
Yeah? The Prime Minister of France said he'd go out collecting jam jars as soon as he got back to Paris.
Well, he deserves the Nobel Prize, does Fred?
No, you can only win it once. And he's had it twice already. Hey, listen, don't anybody breathe a word about that red cabbage job, because it's top secret.
Uncle Nasty, why are you banging your head against that wall?
You really do get right up my nose, you lot do, pal. You really do.
Oh, it's no good, Melanie. I can't cope. Where the hummer is, everybody? They've gone to fetch Uncle Rufus's car from the garage. It's had a service. You're joking. The only service that car needs is a funeral service. Well, that's where they are. And this afternoon, Wilfred's having his first driving lesson. Heaven help the pedestrians. How long do you think they're going to be, Adolf? I don't know. It's only a mile away. At the speed that car goes at, it'll take him 2 days. Oh, I can't cope. This meal's going to be ruined. What have you made, Mum? Fricassee of rabbit and chicken. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful, Dad? I don't know. There's only 2 problems. What are they? I'd no rabbit and I'd no chicken. So what have you used? 2 black puddings and a tin of pilchard. And is it fricasseed? Is it fricasseed? I'll tell you, it's been fricasseeing for 4 flipping hours. And is it all right? Well, the last time I looked, the pilchards were eating the black pudding. Oh, why don't they take me away?
Well, I must say, everybody, they've done a good job on old Flossie. She's running like a dream. Just listen to that engine. Oh, That's poetry in motion.
Any chance of going a bit faster, like?
What on earth do you want to go faster for, Uncle Nasty?
I'd like to get home in time for my birthday.
When's that?
A week on Friday.
Ah, look, this is wonderful. This is what motoring's all about.
Exactly. Waving to the passers-by.
Taking in the scenery.
Been overtaken by hedgehogs.
Uncle Nasty, what's wrong with a nice, relaxing drive home?
Nothing's wrong with a nice, relaxing drive home, but this is ridiculous. That last set of traffic lights changed 6 times while we're going across them.
Actually, Uncle Nasty, I don't think that's quite true. They were at green when we started going across. Then they changed to amber as that fire engine came across in front of us. Then they changed back to green again. And I remember as that police car swerved to avoid us, they were definitely at red for only the second time. But when the ambulance started clipping us on, they were between red and amber and green. Then they went back to red again. Then they went to green. And the ambulance was still clipping us on. Then they went back to red. I'll give you that. Because that funeral procession almost collided with us as we're halfway across. But as that taxi swerved and cracked into the wedding car, I do believe they were on amber. And then we had the argument with the horse and cart. And then we were across. So I think you're exaggerating a bit when you say they changed 6 times.
Give me strength.
No, they've done a good job on this little engine.
Yeah, they have that, old fella.
It's responding beautifully to everything I ask of it.
What more can you ask of a car?
Just listen to that pent-up power. Just waiting to explode when we hit the open road and I put my foot down.
Oh, I am excited about having my first lesson, Uncle Rubbish. You know, I think I can see myself as a natural.
I think I can see you as a prat. You'll have no chance learning to drive.
Of course I will. It's only a matter of pushing your feet up and down on them pedals and twiddling that round finger from there.
Well, actually, Wilfred, there is a bit more to it than that. Mind you, that's basically what I do.
Who taught you to drive, old gaffer?
Well, it's a very interesting question, is that, Ratface?
Which will bring a long, boring answer, no doubt.
You see, my old dad used to work for the council on the roadworks, and he taught me to drive on his steamroller.
Blimey. No wonder you think this is travelling fast.
You know, I always wanted to drive a steamroller when I was a lad.
Yeah, do you know, when I was a little lad, I used to sit on the pavement for hours watching my old dad go up and down on his steamroller.
You should have sat in the middle of the road. For crying out loud, I'm starving. Isn't there any way we can go any faster?
Oh, yeah. But it'd mean leaving the car.
Well, Frida, you've excelled yourself today, love. That was a beautiful lunch.
It was, mind you. I've always been partial to kippers.
It wasn't kippers. It was dried up black pudding.
Ah, well, there were a fishy taste to it.
That'd be what were left at Pilcher's.
You've left yours, Wilfred. Don't you like it?
Oh, yeah. It's just that as I was going to put my fork in the first piece, it moved.
Did you enjoy it, Uncle Nasty?
You'll find out after the post-mortem.
Well, I quite liked it. It had a sort of a piquant quality.
Yes, it sort of lingered on the taste buds.
Oh, it did, it definitely lingered.
I'll make no wonder. It's been lingering in that flipping oven for 6 hours waiting for you lot to come home. Oh, I can't cope. I'll go and sort out the pudding.
Hey, look, it's Fred Fibber. Here, come in, Fred, lad. All right, lads.
What do you want, Fibber? Because you can't have it. Get it over with and get out.
Hang on a minute, pal. What happened to that old proverb, love thy neighbour?
Yeah, exactly. And the other one. Better to fool you know than gather no moss Well, it's never too late to learn to teach a dog new tricks when you've got one in the bush. Unless you've made your bed with a friend in need. I think.
Do you fancy a bit of lunch, Fred? There's plenty left.
No, I'd better not, 'cause I'm on this diet.
Oh, what diet's this then, Fred?
Irene thought I was a bit overweight. Of course, I told her I had to put weight on last week when I won World Weightlifting Championship.
You lying rat fibber. You never won any World Weightlifting Championship.
Of course I did. Last Saturday, Wembley Conference Centre.
How much did you lift, Fred?
4,000 kilos. The platform I was standing on and Wembley Conference Centre.
Well, that's brilliant.
Right, with hard work, there were 58,000 people sitting in it.
You get further up my nose by the minute, fibber.
So, now I'm on this diet. Well, I had to. Now we're up to 43 stone. So, I started on Sunday. I lost 14 stone Sunday morning. I lost 12 stone Sunday afternoon. And by Tuesday, I was down to 9 stone 6.
Well, it sounds a fantastic diet, doesn't it, Geoffrey?
It certainly does, Ernie.
Is it that chicken and chutney diet?
No, it's that pie crust and polony one.
Oh, pie crust and polony. We must try that, Geoffrey.
We must.
How does it work, Fred?
The more you eat, the more weight you lose.
You should have eaten 4 tons and disappeared altogether.
Well, I must say, you look fantastic, Fred. I've never seen you look so fit.
I agree. I'd never have guessed you'd have been 43 stones a week ago.
Hey! We haven't asked Fred why he's moving.
All I'm interested in is when he's moving.
What's that for sale sign doing in your garden, Fred?
Forced upon me, pal. I've got to move. MI5 insisted on it.
What are you talking about? MI5?
I'm telling you. I've just smashed this international smuggling ring involving 2,000 crooks in 48 countries.
Hey, what were they smuggling, Fred?
Collar studs.
Collar studs?
Do you know, I haven't seen a collar stud in years.
Of course you haven't. They've all been smuggled out of the country, haven't they? Until MI5 put me in charge, then it were all over in a couple of weeks.
So why do you have to move, Fred?
Well, it's fear of reprisals, innit? Cabinet had an emergency meeting yesterday, and they decided they wanted me out of the way.
They're not the only ones, pal.
So where are you going to live, Fred?
I don't know. I thought about buying Windsor Castle. But it's too much for Irene to clean, so... I might settle for a 2 up and 2 down in Macclesfield.
Well, who'd have thought we had one of the country's top spies living next door?
Well, I wouldn't, Ernest. I would not.
No.
You are joking. The nearest this tripound's been to the MI5 is watching a James Bond film.
Well, that just shows you how much you know, doesn't it, clever clogs? Because as it happens, they base them films on my exploits.
Did you have a 00 number, Fred?
Of course I did. 006 and 7/8. Licensed to wear a bowler.
I think that's fantastic.
Anyhow, I must be off. I've got a meeting with Interpol in half an hour.
And I'm having my first driving lesson.
Well, good for you, lad. I remember the day I passed my driving test. I had 1 lesson on Thursday, passed my test on Friday, and following Sunday I won Spanish Grand Prix. Anyway, all the best. Ta-ra, lad. See ya.
Ta-ra, Fred.
Ta-ra, Fred. See you later, lad.
Good riddance.
There goes a genius.
There goes a barn pot.
Farm Potter Genius. Wilf is going to have his first driving lesson, so who wants to come with him?
Oh, you're joking. I'd rather go down the Cresta Run on a dustbin lid.
Rat face?
Well, if you don't mind, old fella, I think I've just remembered I've something to do.
Anybody else want to come with Wilf on his first driving lesson?
I don't think so, Uncle Rubbish.
You count me out.
And me.
Right, so it's just the 2 of us, Wilfred. Come on, lad.
Okay.
Right. Who wants some of this homemade pudding?
I've changed my mind. Wait for me, Uncle Rubbish.
And me. And
Don't
me.
go without me.
Hang on, me and Geoffrey will come as well.
Right. Now, let's get organised. Ernest and Geoffrey, you'll get in the dicky seat.
Oh, lovely. Come on, Geoffrey.
Now, how do we normally seat everybody?
Well, usually, me and Melanie sit together. Rat-faced and Uncle Natty sit on me and Melanie, and you sit in the front.
Brilliant, let's do it.
After you, Melanie.
Okay.
Move your legs, Grimshaw.
No. Here, make room for me, then.
Oh,
That's it then. Is everybody in?
yeah.
Well, I suppose we are, yes.
Right. There we are.
Yeah.
We're ready. Now, Wilfred, these 3 pedals on the floor are your clutch, your foot brake, and your accelerator.
Oh, yeah.
This is your handbrake, this is your gear lever, and this is your steering wheel.
Yeah.
You put your ignition key in that little hole,
Yeah.
you switch on,
Yeah.
pull out the choke,
Yeah.
press the starter button,
Yeah.
push in your clutch,
Yeah.
put it in first gear,
Yeah.
gently press your accelerator,
Yeah.
at the same time slowly releasing your clutch,
Yeah.
and you're away.
Yeah.
Have you any questions?
Yeah. Would it be better if I sat in the front?
You flipping bonehead, Grimshaw.
Ah, that is unbelievable. Wilfred, come on, climb over me.
Okay.
Ah, my legs!
Give me a push, somebody.
Ow!
Put your feet.
There, I'm here.
What are you doing in the dicky seat with us, Wilfred?
I don't believe it.
Just look what your big feet have done to me crushed strawberry corduroy.
I'm sorry.
Ow! You're standing on my head, Wilfred.
Look, would it be better if you moved the pedals and steering wheel into the back?
Hang on, Wilfred, you put one hand on my shoulder and scramble over that way.
Okay.
Ow!
There you go. I'm here.
Good lad. Oh, here's the ignition key, Wilfred, and there's the hole it goes in.
Right. I think the next hour could well be the most exciting, momentous time of my life.
Never again, Geoffrey.
Never again, Ernest.
Never, ever again.
That was without doubt the most terrifying ride in a dicky seat I've ever had.
Oh, and me.
Well, I think you've been a bit unfair on Wilfred.
What are you talking about? He wants banning for life. I've never seen anything like it. I've heard of going over roundabouts, but never tried to go under one.
I must say, he doesn't seem to be a natural driver.
He's a natural prat.
And, well, what about that incident at the supermarket?
Oh, well, that was partly my fault. I told him to turn left at the supermarket. I didn't expect him to turn left and drive into it.
It was a bit embarrassing, that old gaffer.
You're joking. When he pulled up at the bacon counter, wound down his window and asked for half a pound of smoked middle, I nearly died.
No, that's it. He's no chance of passing a driving test.
Maybe you'd be better off with a proper driving instructor.
Melanie, how can you be so cruel? I'll have you know I've been driving over 50 years, and I've never had an accident, and my powers of concentration are as good as they ever were.
If your powers of concentration are so good, how did we manage to end up in the middle of that rose bed in front of the town hall?
Oh, well, that must have been when I dropped off to sleep.
Where is he, anyway?
He's having a cup of hot, strong tea.
He should be having a cup of hot, strong creosote.
No, Frida's made him a cup of tea. She thought he looked a bit pale.
What about us looking pale?
You're right. I must have gone white when we were driving down that railway line.
You did, Geoffrey? Yes. Fancy turning right at that level crossing.
Yes, but fair dues, when we got to the station, he did well to get onto the platform and out through the ticket office.
Hello, everybody. How do you think I did?
Grimshaw, if I never get in a car with you driving again, it'll be too soon. Your display today was reckless, dangerous, unbelievably appalling, frightening and criminal. You'll never make a driver if you live to be 200. You're rubbish and a menace to society.
But apart from that, how do you pretend
What time's this driving instructor coming, Wilfred?
It should be here any moment now.
You're mad. You're absolutely mad. Why did you let this tri-pound persuade you to let him have another go?
Uncle Nasty, we had a democratic family vote and it was unanimous.
What democratic family vote? I don't remember a democratic family vote.
No, we had it when you were at the paper shop.
Besides, this instructor bloke, he guarantees to get you through your test.
And who is he?
Sid Squeak.
That's right, the Sid Squeak School of Advanced Driving Instruction.
Hey, that'll be him now. I'll let him in.
What a waste of flipping money this is. Good stolen.
If he gets Wilfred through his test, it'll be worth every penny.
Oh, of course it will.
Maybe I was wrong for him. Maybe he just needs someone with a different approach.
He wants approaching, all right. I'd like to approach him with a mechanical shovel.
Ah, here he is. Nice to see you, Mr. Squeak.
And greetings from the chairman and senior instructor of the Sid Squeak School of Advanced Driving Instruction.
Blimey, you need a pair of windscreen wipers to talk to this fella.
This is my chief assistant and advisor on transport matters, Mr. Stanley Bubble.
How do you do, you say?
As I understand it, a certain person in your household is causing instructional problems.
Ah, you could say that.
I just have done.
It's Wilfred.
I'm Wilfred.
And what standard on a scale of 1 to 600 have you presently reached?
Minus 250.
It's not very good, you see, Mr. Squeak.
My dear sir, the Sid Squeak School of Advanced Driving Instruction's proud boast is 100% passage since its inception. Isn't that right, Stanley?
Oh, quite right, Stanley.
So what do you suggest, Mr. Squeak?
Yes, he really is pretty awful.
First of all, let's analyze his capabilities. Steering,
Pathetic.
reversing,
Even worse.
starting and stopping.
He does that 10 times a minute.
I see.
Look, pal, he can't steer, he can't judge distance, he goes through supermarkets, he drives on railway lines, he had pedestrians climbing up gas lamps, and he tries to go under roundabouts.
It sounds as if he's lacking in dexterity.
That's like saying Jack the Ripper was a naughty boy.
Look, just leave it to Mr. Squeak. He's the expert.
I suggest my special 7-day intensive advanced course with extra sessions, concentrating on steering, reversing, skidding, and specialising in clutch control and supermarket avoidance.
What do you say, Uncle Nasty?
It's difficult to say anything after that. I'm wet through.
Oh, please, let me have a go. All I need is someone who's patient and understanding, and I know I can pass the test.
Patience and understanding are two of the greatest qualities I possess. Isn't that right, Stanley?
Oh, quite right, Sidney.
Well, I think we should encourage Wilfred.
So do I.
I agree. Think of the confidence it'll give him.
Think of the supermarkets he'll wreck.
So, it sounds unanimous. The Sid Squeak 7-day intensive advanced course with extra sessions.
Go on then, go on. But if he fails his test after we've spent good money on him, I'll personally swap his ears over, tie a knot in his neck, and I'll set him in concrete.
Well, you can't say fairer than that, can you, Wilfred? Can you, Wilfred? Wilfred? Wilfred?
He seems to have collapsed.
Well, who would have thought it possible, eh? Hey, a week ago, Wilfred had his first lesson, and at this moment in time, He's taking his test.
He'll have taken it now, Uncle Rubbish. He should be back any minute.
The way he dedicated himself to his lessons was fantastic.
It was.
He knew his highway code word for word.
You have to admire him.
I don't have to admire him. I'm telling you, if he's wasted our money, I'll have him.
Wilfred, you're back.
Go on then, tell us, lad. Is it good news or is it bad?
I've passed. I've got my license.
Did you hear that, Uncle Rubbish? Wonderful.
Well done, Wilfred. I knew you could do it.
Ah, so did I.
The examiner said I was the best in any week.
Congratulations, Wilf.
Hang on a minute. Are you trying to tell us that your steering was perfect?
Brilliant.
And you stopped and starts?
Superb.
Did you go on any railway lines?
No.
What about supermarkets?
Nowhere near one.
And no pedestrians ran away from you?
No. Actually, I never saw a pedestrian.
You never saw a pedestrian? How was that, lad?
Because I took me test on Lord's cricket ground.
It doesn't matter where you took it, Wilfred. You've passed, and you've got your licence to prove it. Come on, everybody. Let's celebrate with a trip. Wilfred, get the car out.
Oh, I can't do that.
Well, what do you mean, lad?
Well, you see, I didn't pass me test in a car.
But you said you'd got a driving licence.
Oh, I have. You see, that's why I had to take me test at Lord's cricket ground. It's a licence to drive a motorboat. You have been listening to Wilf on Wheels. That's me. Wilf, not the Wilf. Starring the Grumbleweeds, Albert, Carl, Graham, Morris and Robin. And me, Wilf. Wilf on Wheels was written and produced in Manchester by Mike Craig.
And there's more laughter tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Radio 2, a new series of Ken Dodd's Palace of Laughter. That should be a lot of fun. Back to this evening, and after the news, Peter Dixon presents Nightcap. Stay with us.
Radio 2.
It's 11 o'clock. With the news, Alan Dedicoat.
One policeman and 6 civilians are reported to have been injured in 2 explosions in the centre of Londonderry tonight. In a statement, the IRA said they tossed 2 hand grenades at a police Land Rover which was on patrol. The city centre was packed at the time. There are no further details. There'll be no problems for British holidaymakers travelling to and from Spain tomorrow, following the decision by air traffic controllers in Barcelona to call off their 24-hour strike. The decision came after the controllers met to consider a new offer from their employers in the row over bonus payments. In the Gulf, the Iraqis have claimed that their warplanes have hit an Iranian tanker this evening. It's the 13th such attack by Iraq since it resumed its raids last weekend. The United Nations Security Council has agreed that the UN Secretary-General, Senor Perez de Cuellar, should visit both Iran and Iraq in an attempt to persuade them to accept the United Nations ceasefire plan. Martine Dennis reports.
The Security Council's decision to send the Secretary-General to the Gulf signals the beginning of an intense period of diplomatic activity. Now, great pressure will be brought to bear on Iran to accept the ceasefire resolution. The Council has emphasized that Tehran must accept or reject the resolution in its entirety. It will not countenance a selective reply. The Secretary-General has been told to return with Tehran's definitive and unambiguous response to the resolution, leaving him to determine the best way to go about that. He will also visit Baghdad, but his trip will only go ahead if both sides agree to a ceasefire while he's in the area.
Matthias Rust, the young West German who's been sentenced to 4 years in a Soviet labor camp after flying a plane into the center of Moscow, has described the outcome of his trial as fair. Rust was allowed to speak to journalists after the verdict was announced. His parents said they accepted the sentence, but hoped he wouldn't serve the full term. And that's the news. Now tennis. It's the 4th day of the US Open Championships, and already 4 men's seeds have fallen today. Tony Adamson reports.
Well, after the shock of seeing their leading player Pat Cash eliminated from the US Open at the first hurdle earlier this week, there was considerable consolation for the Australian contingent today when one of their promising young players, Mark Woodford, a qualifier from Adelaide, enjoyed the best win of his career by knocking out the number 12 seed Tim Mayotte of the United States. Woodford won 7-6.